Real talk, real life, real growth.
This is Raw Reality with Tori Story and Fit with Lily.
Hello, guys, and welcome back to the podcast. Today, we are talking about everything to be authentic with you. Now, the reason being, Kate and I watched this guy called Daniel Dallin on YouTube, and I actually can't really tell you what he does, but all I know is his videos are crazy cool. He has a really cool editor, and he also does them himself, but he's also like an incredible businessman, entrepreneur, like millionaire, and it's just really cool behind the scenes of his life. He said yesterday in his YouTube video, he said that you escape the competition by being authentic to you. And it just like really hit me. And I was like, wow, that is so true. You always focus on like trying to keep up with other people and doing what they're doing to try and stay one step ahead. But as soon as you just focus on yourself and what you're good at, it literally eliminates everyone else. And I was like, we need to talk about that.
And especially because we're so big on authenticity. And it's also like this could be in real life or this could be on social media as well. Like if you're getting into socials and you want to grow and all those sorts of things, this episode will really probably spark a fair bit in you in terms of the social media side, but also in real life with building friendships, finding a partner, friends and family, coming out of school. Like it's a bit of everything.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've really tapped into our authenticity, and that's how we've grown our brand and the podcast and all that sort of stuff, because we are just who we are. And the best compliment I feel like you can get being online on social media is you're the same person in person as you are online.
Yes.
And you're just like, I've done my job.
Even just like looks the same. Because
Yeah.
there's so many people like in person who I see, especially being in the Gold Coast. I'm like, is that them or is it not? They look very different online and you don't know. And like obviously we all post our best photos and things like that. But when it comes down to like editing your photos and just like never actually showing up as the real you online, I think that makes such a big difference. So
Yeah.
let's talk about it.
We're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel, I guess like the biggest thing with this as well is like society's pressures to show up as someone that you're not, whether that is, you know, a cascade of things of like end of school or coming out of school, going into uni, pressures of friends, family, teachers, all the things. Did you ever feel the need to like show up as someone that you weren't or like, yeah, be someone that you're not?
I feel like the whole time through school, and I'm going to say this genuine, like generically, a lot of people probably feel the same as this, but they're always trying to live up to a standard that they don't really hold for themselves. It's other people hold for them. So for example, throughout my whole cheerleading career, yes, I wanted to be the best I could, but to impress my coaches, to be someone for my coaches. Same as like going to university, I wanted to impress my family or my dad and like be that person who they wanted me to be. And I feel like that's just what we do when we're young. We kind of conform into someone that we're not really. And especially through school, you get told to wear something. You get told what to study, everything, like how to act, how to stand, like literally everything about yourself. You're not allowed to wear this type of makeup. You have to have your hair this length. You can't have too much out. Like there's nothing really for you at school that you get to choose, and then you go home and your family's making that decisions for you. So I find that the transition from like year 12 out of school is humbling. It is the hardest transition I've ever done.
You don't get prepared for it.
No one prepares you. No. They're like, do this, be this, out of uni. What do you want to be? I don't know. You just told me what to be for the last 15 years. Now I have to make the decision for myself. But I feel like at the end of school, I didn't really know who I was. How about you?
I as we know, I was a high school dropout, left at the end of year 10. And I'm trying to think of like in school, I feel like I was pretty well myself in terms of like personality. Mine was probably more around family. When I was younger, I got told that I was too loud, that I was too much, too annoying, because I was like the naughty grandchild, because there's like 16 of us and I was the last one born out of all the grandkids and like I was the naughty one. So I was naughty, I was loud, I was too much, like no one wanted to babysit me. So I got fed a lot of that, but that was my, like highlight in going into acro, because I got to perform, I got to be loud, I got to be the leader, and all those traits that I got shot down for in family came out as a leader in acro. So then you get rewarded for it. And I just felt my mum was never like, she was like, you be yourself, you know, and kind of taught me that from a very young age. So at school, I feel like had a good group of friends, and I feel like because I was at a sports school, everyone was like in their zone. And then leaving school, I feel like I just focused on gym and I was in my safe environment. Like acro was my safe environment or at home with just me and my mum. So I don't feel like I had that except for that family environment earlier on. And then growing up, I feel like I just I was myself because I was in my safe environment. It was probably leaving acro in 2019 where I was like, oh, what now? Because it's been stripped away from me, not by choice, but by injury and mental health. So who am I? What do I do? That was my kind of like, how do I act? What do I do? And that's when I started going out because everyone else was going out.
Yeah.
So I got molded into that.
That's exactly what I did. As soon as I kind of finished at 12, I started going out, but also just turned 18. Like obviously wanted to live my life.
Yeah.
And there is also a difference between actually just like fitting into society and then still being yourself at the same time. I found that like I still did everything I wanted to do, right? Like I still wanted to study business at uni. I still wanted to do cheerleading. I still wanted to do all of these things, but I think it was just amplified by the people around me. And I think the biggest part for me was like with my past relationship. I think that's where I truly conformed into someone I didn't want to be, and I wasn't authentic to myself because I didn't know who I was or what I wanted to do. I was just always like trying to please someone else. And I feel like that is very common in a first relationship because you don't know how to act, you don't know what to do, and you're just trying to be a perfect person so that they like you.
Especially from when you're in that relationship from a young age.
Yes.
You kind of just get used to that. So you're like, oh, well, I just need to make it work and do what's right for them. And it's not necessarily what's right for you. In my past relationship, I feel I was quite headstrong in terms of he would get pulled into the wrong crowd and I was like, no, like I don't stand for that. And if that's what you want to do, see it fucking later. But then I would still let things slide because it was like, well, I won't find anyone else. And like, you're my partner. So like, I just have to
Isn't it crazy when we're 18, we're like, I'm not finding anyone else.
No,
like,
literally.
Darling.
And then you're like, we're like 26, 25 and you're like, oh, like actually I could find someone if I wanted to and, you know, things didn't work out.
I know. Not that we're touching wood.
No, we're not doing that.
But like it's so true. And when you're so young, you feel like the world is so small, so enclosed and that you literally just only have one shot at everything. And the older you get, the more eye-opening things are and the more opportunities come your way. And I really feel like that's when you kind of transform into yourself. But like I truly believe that like 25 is like almost like where the frontal lobe actually starts to develop. And like scientifically it is true. But just like knowing the change that I had from 18 to 21, I was pretty much the same person. 21 to 23, starting to mature. But then 23 to 25, I was like, oh, now I'm really starting to mature. And now it's just getting more and more. But I feel like 25 was my like pivotal age where I was like, okay, this is who I want to be.
Yeah. I think mine was 19 to 22 was like, well, I guess you could say 18 to 21 was pretty huge because that's when I retired from gym. So that was my major like transformational years of like, what am I doing with my life? Who am I without acro? But then also going through all the health issues that I did. And then I would say I kind of cruised from 22 to 25, like moved states a million times and like found my career, but just kind of got through. And then I would agree, like 24, 25 onwards, you're like, oh, yeah. I'm solidified.
And then boys even later than that. Yeah. Apparently they're like 28.
Yeah.
Howard's Jackson?
Boys,
27.
27 in October.
27 in October. So we've got like 1-2 more years of the boys.
Yeah,
and
boys
then they'll get their shit
mature
together.
so much later.
Yeah.
That's why I was always like driven to like older. Because I'm like, boys are
older
just,
man.
Not older.
I've got a young man.
Yeah. But I'm like, I could not handle it immature.
No, so fair. That's why not always, but like a lot of the time females do date older men. Like at least there's like 1 year apart.
And then there's my mum who dates my dad who's 11 years younger.
That's crazy.
He's pretty mature, but like shit.
Thinking about it now, my dad was 27 or 20. I'm probably getting this wrong. 27, 28. My mum was like 19. No way.
Well, do they have a big age gap?
Yeah, they do.
Oh,
Yep. Dad's 63 and mum's 54.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so fairly 9 years. I'm sorry, I'm not letting my 19-year-old daughter date a 28-year-old man. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Jeez. Can you imagine there right now being like an 18-year-old in our friendship group? No. To be fair, though, we met Taylor when she was quite young.
Yeah.
She was like really mature.
She wasn't 18 though.
Yeah. Anyway,
moving on. We digress.
Yeah. How much of your personality do you think was shaped by trying to fit in?
I feel like not a lot because I think in those years of me being completely lost, a lot in the sense of like, well, everyone else is drinking and partying. I'm just going to do the same because I didn't have acro to kind of keep me in line.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely think a lot in those periods, which was probably like end of 2019 to like mid 2020, which was just like, I look back at like, say Snapchat memories like pop up and I'm like, why was I hanging out with you? And I'm like, anyway, it's a season, it served its purpose, but I think that period was, I have never really been a drinker, I've never really been into partying, but I just felt like, well, everyone else was, so that's what I have to do. That's what you do when you turn 18 and like you come out of sport and things like that. But in terms of being, I want to say in acro, because that was like a large, I would spend 40 hours a week there, you mold into a family. So I feel like everyone was kind of praised, I guess, for who they are and what they bring to the table. So that was a really healthy, good environment. But it was like always us, you know, trying to impress our coaches and things like that. But as an elite athlete, you want to impress your coach. So that's kind of normal. So I feel like not too much.
I feel like for me, everything I did actually shape my personality, but not from a way where I was trying to fit in. Yeah. So it's like cheerleading and school shaped me who I am now. And of course it did because you're like a sponge back then. Like everything you do shapes you and molds you into who you are today. But I believe that I was like still authentic to myself throughout those times. But I can definitely pick little pockets where I was like, that wasn't my personality. That wasn't my personality. I was just trying to fit in. Like there was a few hairstyles that I would have. And I was like, that was so ugly. But I wanted to fit in. And little things like that, I found that I definitely changed throughout like either cheer or school. But I don't think that I've kept anything now, like my personality wise.
Even makeup. I remember in year 7, like my year 7 photos, like cake face, eyeliner.
No,
and then like as I progressed through high school, it was like less and less and less makeup.
See, mine was year 8. I had a tiny bit of concealer, but like I only bought one stick and no one could notice because we technically weren't allowed makeup at school. Then year 9 and 10, 11, I started like putting on normal, but like actually it was like fine. You couldn't really see. And then for some reason I decided to wear, I thought it was so cool that from year 11 to 12, like school holidays, I didn't wear makeup. And it just kind of became a little bit of a competition with myself that I was like, I don't wear makeup. And then I thought that was cool saying I don't wear makeup. But then for school photos on day 1, I said no to makeup and regretted my decision. And then the rest of the year I wore makeup.
I remember you saying that.
I was like, why would I do that?
Yeah.
But yeah, God, makeup at school. Jeez.
When do you feel like you had to change yourself to belong? Or was there a stage where you had to?
Yes. I feel like when I first moved to Adelaide, I definitely changed who I was just with my environment. I don't think I necessarily knew that I was changing, but naturally in different situations you become a different person. And I kind of like separated myself from my closer friends back at school and just kind of did my own thing. But I didn't really have many people to support on there. So I just kind of became a person who just was the yes person. So I just said yes to everyone and anything. And I really think that that was someone who I not really am at all. But you have to go through those seasons of life to kind of figure it out. And then I would also say the year from 2017, the year after school, I didn't necessarily change, but I didn't know who I was. So I went out partying. I did all of these things. I was trying to impress. It was like the year that my ex and I had like a break. And so I was just trying to impress boys. And like I'd go out and like do anything I could for attention and validation. And that's where I would change. It was basically validation because my ex didn't want me. So I needed other people to want me. And that's, of course, a very normal thing throughout growing up. You don't really ever validate yourself. And now, God, I don't need any validation at all. Like, of course it's nice, but like in comparison to back then, oh my God, my world would fall apart if someone didn't look at me or if they looked at my friend and not me and like little things like that.
Yeah, I would say very similar myself when, again, I had that party girl era and it was me being the most like depressed, no self-confidence at all. So again, a similar thing, like I would go out and just try and get attention from everyone and anyone because I hated what I looked like, what I felt like, and I was going through so many health issues that I was just like, I have no self-worth, so I will get it from guys and other people at the bar or whatever it was. And it was just like, you're just begging for it.
Yeah, I know.
And you're like, hey, just calm down.
No, I really want a girl, but I'm low-key terrified for a girl because when they're this age, not this age, when they're like probably 15 to 19 because I went out with no jacket, the most crazy intense makeup, dead straight hair, like burnt to the crisp. And just like it was freezing in Melbourne and Dad would always be like, bring a jacket, Lily, you're going to get cold. No, because I thought the more skin I showed, the more male attention I would have. And you know what? It was true. Like absolutely it was true back then for the type of guys that I was going for.
Yeah.
Whereas now, I don't think Cade wants that. You know what I mean? So
he's like, hey, let's cover it up.
Yeah.
I think with like authenticity and, you know, you can't really become who you want to become or who you end up being without all of these seasons and learning these things about yourself. It's like, okay, now I don't have to go out and get attention because I don't care about it. Like I can validate myself. I have a loving partner, loving friends. I don't need any of that. But in order to find who you truly are, you do need to go through these seasons and you can look back and go, what were you doing? But it drives a purpose. And I think authenticity is, for me and the way that I view it, it's the only way to success, real friends, and then if you're going online, a community and an audience. Because you can only fake being someone for so long and it will never stick.
Let's touch on social media for a second because everyone always says it's so oversaturated. And I know that we spoke about it in last week's episode. And yeah, a lot of people are on social media. But if you are authentic to yourself and you do what you want to do, what you want to post, you'll find that there is no competition because you are just yourself, right? You're not comparing yourself to another gym influencer or another food influencer because you're doing you and what you're good at. And people on socials love you for your specific like personality. Think of your favorite person on social media. It's not because they post gym content. It's not because they post food content, but it's because who they are as a person and you enjoy watching the way that they create or the way that they speak or the way that they hold themselves. And it's almost like reflect that back onto you and who you're showing up on socials. As is it authentic to you? Because you can't fake that at all.
And I was thinking this as I was thinking about the episode is like you have people online who are just recipes and gym workouts that you follow for inspiration to take for food, gym, whatever, all those like faceless accounts that are aesthetic and you have all those things. But for the people who you're following along their journey, it's because they're authentic to themselves. And, you know, you can have people you aspire to and look up to. And for example, you guys know, love Sarah's Day. And it is kind of weird how my life has panned out. Very, very similar.
Very similar.
But it's like, I see that and I'm like, that's what I want for myself. And I've seen that from the beginning. And I just so happen to also be dating a videographer, build a podcast studio and now having a kid before marriage.
That's really interesting.
But I have that because I'm like, that's what I see for myself. And, you know, you could look at Kayla Itzinas and go, yep, that's what I want for myself. Like you just have these people you aspire to and that is perfect and amazing, but there's a reason you're drawn to them. And it's most likely because of the way they hold themselves and, you know, what they share online. And for as long as you're pretending to be someone else or show up online to prove a certain point, it will only last you a very short period of time before people go, that's not who you are, or your friends will be like, this is not, like who you are online is not who I hang out with in person.
Oh my God, my like worst fear is for me to post something and my friends be like, what was that, Lily? That was so weird.
But we'd tell you.
I know, but I'm like, that is like traumatizing. And so like that's the reason why I'll only post whatever I want to post.
Yeah.
No, 100%. I also think as well, like being yourself actually creates confidence. Like that's where your confidence lies, is being you and showing up as the person that you want to be. Because when you start to fake it and when you start to be someone that you're not just to try to fit in, you're not confident.
Well, like how do you be confident?
You're insecure. You are so stressed about what other people are thinking of you. You need validation from others. Of course, that's not where confidence comes from. It comes from like being empowered by yourself and having your own opinions and your own decisions. And even just like in a conversation, right? If you start to conform into whatever someone else says and you just be that yes person, say, yes, I agree with you. Yes, I agree with you. They also aren't going to actually like you that much either. Like they want to have opinions. You need to be yourself and people will actually like you more for it.
Yeah. And to that, you could be pretending to show up online as someone else because you have these insecurities and you're trying to present as someone as you're not because of your insecurities and your lack of confidence. But that's only going to drive your lack of confidence. The more you can start to show up as yourself, and this may be in a friendship group where you might feel like you're being pushed down or you're being shadowed by someone else, the little steps you can take to be yourself is when that confidence starts to rise and start to build, because you start to show up as yourself and go, oh, I can have my opinion. I can have my word. I can say what I think about what she's wearing today, or no, this is your opinion, this is mine, and that's okay. And that's where confidence grows. But I think people lock themselves in a box because of their insecurities. So then they pretend to be someone. But then in reality, if you flip that complete opposite way and start to be yourself, you will notice your confidence rise then, not when you're trying to be someone else.
Also, when it's kind of like tying into people pleasing, because when you're a people pleaser, you're not authentic to you because you're not saying no to things that don't serve you. And people also just start to walk around you. They start to push you and not really, they just like know that they can get away with absolutely anything. And especially in our early 20s, I find this happen a lot with friendships, relationships, employment, business, all of those things, is they just get pushed around because they are that yes person and they're not confident in themselves or who they want to be, or even just to simply speak up. And I find like that is the most important learning lesson throughout like literally my whole entire life, is actually to say no to things that don't serve you and that are more authentic to you in terms of your morals, in terms of your values. And then you will also feel more confident in yourself for saying like no. And of course, the first one is going to be so freaking scary. You're going to probably cause an upset because people are so used to you saying yes or agreeing with their opinion, and all of a sudden they're caught off guard and they're like, oh, wait, what, you don't want to do that? And then over time, it gets easier and it gets easier, and then you get more confident in yourself and saying all of these things, and then it just ends up better for everyone.
If you think about, again, who you're following on socials, who you aspire to be, or just your friendship group or close family members, and you think about why you connect with them, is because you're having real conversations. You're talking about, you know, the things that are real in your life. And if you take it back and look at society, say ads, for example, ads used to be so curated, so selly, and like just purely advertising. Now, in a world of this day and age, we've progressed to influencer marketing because people buy from people. And even if you're looking at ads now are like they're using influencer marketing on TV ads, not just on social media, because people want to buy from people. And that's where like you're looking at your AFM, your Jazz Handmade, all these kind of social media, big brands, or like Brittany Saunders, they're posting fun, like they're not even really posting about their product unless there's a launch, and of course they're wearing their product. But they're having fun and they're enjoying it, and people are buying because they love Soph and Bailey. They're buying because they love Jazz and her team. They're buying because Brittany is really cool and just like knows her shit. Yeah. Like you look at the way that we've progressed in media, and it's the same with, again, it's more so like talking to if you're being online, but sharing your authentic story, sharing your experiences. And when I first did it, it was fucking terrifying. Like putting my whole story up on YouTube was terrifying. But the second I did it, the weight that came off my shoulders, I was like, yeah, like this feels right. And I did that. And I remember so vividly, please don't go back and watch because it is actually awful. But you can just see the rawness in me. Like you can see the pain in my eyes, really. But the only reason I wanted to post that was because I'm like, I can't be the only one going through this. And that was my biggest driver, because I was like, no one in my immediate circle was going through it, had gone through anything remotely close to what I was going through. I was like, someone in this world has to be going through it. And the immediate response, and I couldn't even tell you, I probably had like 2,000 followers maybe on Instagram, but I was just like, I need to put it out there because my story is going to either help someone or help me not feel so alone in what I'm going through.
On like a smaller scale than that, because not many people share their story online like you have, and honestly, I haven't, so there's that. But even like when you want to say something to someone and it's like weighing on your shoulders and you're like, oh, I don't want to say it, I don't want to upset anyone, I don't want to do anything. And then you just click send, like you write out the message in your notes and you click send.
You throw your phone.
Anxiety goes through the roof, but it's like a weight's lifted off my shoulders. Like, thank God I just said that. And you almost feel better. And it's very, very much similar. And I think that's where it truly just comes down to like holding your worth and just being authentic to you is going to cause you way less stress in the future. Now, something kind of just like what you said in terms of like people buy from people. Example, I saw this perfect girl on social media on a podcast, and she low-key looked a little bit like me. And I was like, I can be her. I like her. Very articulate, knew exactly what she was saying, held her own, beautiful, beautiful girl. found out she was AI, immediately didn't give a fuck. Like, I was like, oh, whatever she has to say now is irrelevant. I don't care because she doesn't have a story. She's not true to herself and she doesn't have opinions on her life experiences. So that truly just goes to show that being your own self makes such a big difference. And that goes for even just like if you're wanting to start your own brand and feeling like it's oversaturated. It's not, because people just want you for your story.
Mm-hmm. And you look at like, again, I'm taking it to social media, but there's so many brands at the moment being called out for copying AFM tanks. They're not going to sell as well because people are buying from Soph and what she's created and who she is. Like,
I actually, do have an opinion about that because I saw on socials and I was like, oh, like, true. So don't get me wrong, I love AFM tanks. Like, I just literally took mine off, but it was piercing my skin because it was really tight. And it is a tank top, right? So of course, more brands are going to do it. Do you think it is copying, or do you think it's just like, oh, it's just a tank top that looks good and people are just doing that as well? Like, they don't really have the concept of a tank top.
Yeah. Like a tank top, it's not like they own a tank top because you can go to Zara and get it and it's like same thing. I think it's the way these brands market it and bring it to life, and then potentially the colors. And it's like the exact design is like the same as
it's
AFM.
like the scoop neck, the thickness of the material, and also the luxe of it. Because tank tops are almost known to wear just like with trackies. But they kind of elevated it to wear jeans, night out, things like that.
And I think it's not just like the product itself, it's like the whole marketing thing. And it's like, oh,
I get it.
Come up with your own thing.
Yeah, I do. I do get it.
But then there's so many brands that have copied like CSB and, you know, like it's just, you know, you can take it as copying, you can take it as inspiration, do what you will with it.
Yeah.
But I think it's the way brands go about it.
Yeah.
And as well, just like I think can speak, the more you pretend, the more disconnected you feel. And not just online, but with yourself. Because if you've ever, you know, showed up at an event and it's in a very different crowd, say you're at a party or an event or, I don't know, a work thing, and it's a very different crowd, you probably naturally go, oh, I need to show up a certain way. And you probably go home feeling so icky because you're like, that was like, who was that? Who did I just leave at the party? Or even
just like, it just goes to show that when you're not even in your authentic environment, so around people that serve you, you also feel disconnected. It's like so many times I've gone to an event and be like, I will never go to an event like this again.
Or you leave a catch up with a friend and you're like, I'm so drained.
Yeah.
Like you should not feel drained when you're with the right people.
Yeah.
Or you're being yourself.
Yeah. And it truly just does come down to that disconnect from things. And over time, you probably feel what's really like meant to be really good and what doesn't make you feel as good. And even just like looking back on like past friendships and like through seasons and different things like that, like they all served its time. And then over time, there was like more of a disconnect and it kind of like kept going and going. And then to like now, like I literally don't, like nothing against them at all, but like I haven't spoke to some of them in like literally years. And it has nothing to do with not liking them as people, but it's like, okay, well now I'm authentic to myself in this season of my life. You're authentic to you. We don't match. It's like the batteries don't go together to power on. Yeah. But it's like now with my friendships, I feel so connected because I'm myself. Everyone around us like has the same morals and values, and that's where you will find your people. So don't feel like just because you're in an environment where you can't be yourself doesn't mean you can't not be yourself. It's just like you need to find the right people that allow you to do that.
And it's like we could feel so drained and so just tired and not in the mood the second we like leave. So say like tonight we're catching up, right? And
oh my God, I was like, we are?
no. But I'm like, say I feel like absolute shit. And I'm like, oh, I'm just going to go see the girls for a bit. I will always, and I know for a fact every single one of us are the same, leave feeling so much better.
And how many times do you not want to go?
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah. It's like, you know, shit's on, you get to the afternoon, you want to get into bed, and we're all the same. But it's like the second we go, we'll leave and there'll be an immediate text in the group chat, like 10 seconds after closing the door being like, love you guys so much, feel so much better, like from one of us.
I know.
And that's when you know you've found your people.
Yeah. And you always like, you connect with what's real.
Yeah.
Right? When things are real, you feel appreciated, you feel valued, like that's when you just feel your best. And even just like in everyday life, like you find when you're scrolling on social media, you're so caught up in the comparisons and almost like the highlight reel of life and what's fake almost. You feel, again, disconnected from yourself, the people around you, your anxiety goes up, your stress levels go up and you just don't feel worthy. You just need to connect to something that's real again. Like literally walk on grass, put your feet in the water, do something outside, and that truly is going to make you feel connected again.
Grounded,
yeah.
One thing that I am so big on and I love is like humans crave safety, belonging, and connection. We on this earth have to have connection. Like that is like, I think, the number one driver of like everything.
Yeah.
And I've read like so many books and podcasts and had the conversations of like, that is the ultimate thing of what people crave. Then inside of that, you want to belong somewhere and you want to feel safe, obviously. And so with all of that, I think the pillar to get to there is being authentic to yourself, because otherwise you're not going to find those right people. And you can be in these friendship groups and, you know, we've had so many girl club inquiries of like, oh, I just have this friend that I'm like not vibing with. I don't know how to get out of it. And it's like, it's going to be hard and you're going to have hard conversations, or you're just going to ghost them, whatever works for you. But you have to learn to put yourself first. And I think that comes with maturity and I think that comes with age. But the more that you put yourselves in these environments that don't align with you, the more drained you're going to feel. And then it's going to flow on in the rest of your life, in the gym, in your work life, in whatever else, family, home, environment, all the things, because you're not being able to fill up your cup for yourself and with friends and family.
Think about back to a time as well where you probably just said yes to something to feel like to belong. So like, let's say you're in a friendship group and everyone's having a conversation, and something that comes to my mind tends to be like about politics or whatever. Our friends literally never ever speak about that, but just keep in mind. And let's say everyone agrees on that particular topic. As a human, naturally, you're probably just not going to say your opinion. You're probably just going to either sit back, feel a little bit like reserved. You might say, I agree, or just not say anything at all. And that's because it's like your default to belong, to feel connected, and also to feel safe, because you feel like if you say your opinion and they don't agree with you, automatically you're pushed outside of the group and you're not connected to them. But if you have the right group, they will always listen. They may not understand or agree, and it's learning to be okay with that. But as long as you can still speak up in times where you don't agree, I think that's really important.
Yeah. Something I learned in my hypnobirthing classes actually is what you basically just said is called fawning. And it's where you basically just want to do these ones and like hide under a rug because you don't want to speak up. You don't want to say your opinion. And the reason that comes up is because, say, in the hospital environment, when you get led to induction and things like that, like you always have a choice. But a lot of people just fawn because being in a hospital or a doctor's environment, you feel so intimidated because they know what's best and you should do exactly what they say. Like you had that experience at the doctor, and it's like, you know in your head that like you kind of know the answers and you know the blood tests that you need, but then they just come across so assertive and you're just like, oh, well, yeah, like you're the doctor, like I should just do what you say. But it's like, no, it's your body. You have every right to have your own opinion and have your say on what you want for your body. So that fawning kind of feeling is very much like what you were just saying when you kind of try and pull back and just do what everyone else is doing.
I was literally on the way here listening to Grace Beverly podcast, and she was saying that when she was like 22 years old, she would have these conversations with investors and kind of like very high up people to give her like money for her business, or even just like supplies and things like that to help her business. And she was like, the amount of times that I just said, oh, okay, that sounds good, even though I knew the answer was wrong, but just because they had 20 years experience on me, because they were so much older, they're in the industry. I'm just a young 20-year-old girl at uni. Of course, I don't know the answer. But it's like, if you deep down know the answer, speak up. And she was like, it cost me so much money, so much time, because I did not speak up just because I thought that they knew better than me. And yeah, people might know better than you on certain topics and things like that, but it doesn't take away from your opinion. And then it's like, that's where that collaboration comes in to be like, okay, well, I think this and it's my business and that's why it's going to succeed. And yes, they may have the answer for another business that succeeded, but it succeeded because that was authentic to them. But you've got to now do what's good for you.
And it takes time and it's fucking hard.
Yeah.
But then the more you do it, again, you build that confidence in going, no. And the right people, when you have the right people in your corner, will respect whatever decision, opinion that you have and choice that you decide to make in the moment or whatever is going on.
Yeah. I think as well, just touching on like how exhausting it is when you're trying to perform instead of just be.
Yeah.
Like when you're in a room, and of course, like when we are in a position where we need to act more professional or not necessarily be someone we're not, but not exactly in my trackies because that's probably where I feel most authentic to me.
With a messy bun and no makeup on.
Literally. Yeah. And oh my God, the best feeling is when you just take off your makeup and I'm like, I look like me again.
Yeah.
Like I feel better. Sometimes I put makeup on, I'm like, I'm ugly now. I hate it. But it's like when you're in those rooms, of course, you almost have to put on a bit of a performance. And you may have to actually perform to some people who you're, I don't know, having a professional conversation with, or you're in an interview and like little things like that. But that doesn't take away from like being authentic to you. You're just like twisting things.
Yeah. And there's also what we're so big on is like fake it till you make it.
Yes.
And that is like, when we say that, it's not like you're faking who you are. It's like faking, sometimes you need that extra confidence.
Fake confidence.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like, okay, I'm walking to a room where I'm probably going to feel intimidated, but I need to show up knowing that I know my shit. I know what I'm about to sell. I know what I'm about to present. And I'm going to be confident in myself, because if you're selling something, like say you have a work boardroom meeting and you're like, I've got to pitch this deck or whatever it is, or, you know, you're going into, I don't know, something, and you go in and you're feeling like shoulders are rounded and you're kind of like stuck in your tracks. That's what they're going to take and feel. They're going to feel that energy. So if you can walk into a room, it's like when we walk on stage every time and present a live podcast or like a talk. We're scared.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, who are we to just get up on stage and like have a conversation? But it's like, no, we always speak off our experience. We always speak off wanting the best for people to improve and inspire people. So we just get up on stage, we be ourselves with a little extra pizzazz, a little extra confidence. And the people in the room feel that energy always.
Yeah. The most successful people are the ones who just like still do it no matter how they feel.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take away from the fact of like, we're not saying that, okay, if today I feel nervous and anxious, that I need to show that, because that's not true. It's like literally what you said, fake it till you make it. And almost like you do have to act unbothered. You do have to act cool and confident, even if you don't feel like it. But it's just like immersing both of those together to get the job done.
Yeah. Period.
And
it's just like the loneliness that comes from people loving a version of you that's not true. Because then you go home and you're like, oh, they really liked me today, but I wasn't myself. And then you just feel a bit like a fraud, if you will. And again, it's really about your environment. And I think if you can take this episode on and listen back or write some notes and go, right, how am I feeling in my friendship group? How am I feeling in my work environment? And work environments are hard because there's probably going to be people that you don't agree with, people that you don't like, straight up. But it doesn't mean you have to have your hour lunch break with them every single day and sit at the table with them and fake a conversation, because then you're going to go back into your work for the second half of the day feeling so drained. You can take yourself out for lunch or go down the street or sit at a different table or lock yourself in a different room. But that's where it's like protecting your energy and yourself and staying true to who you are. Because I think you get older and you really appreciate your time a lot more. Like we're not going to catch up with someone that makes us feel like shit, or I'm just like, I'm not vibing this. Like I'm not going to waste that time. And I think the older you get, you're like, time is precious. And I'm only going to put that into myself and the people around me that fill up my cup.
There's like also on that, seeking validation instead of alignment. This was very evident at school and cheer, because I had like my closest friends who made me feel my best and I could relate to them the most. I was the most authentic. And then both of those groups, I was like, there was another separate group who like I would almost like say the popular group, and I like was still friends with all of them. Like our groups were always very close. But whenever I like tried to be in that group, or maybe my friends were away for that day and I was just like trying to push myself in there, and I just like didn't feel as good. I didn't have as much to say at the table. I was like just trying to seek validation and for them to like agree with what I was saying to feel like I could fit in. And in comparison to my actual proper best friends, I felt so much more like myself. And just like kind of reflect on that as well. Be like, okay, am I just like actually seeking validation, or is this truly aligning with myself? Because we also need to let go of the idea that not everyone is going to like us. And that is something that I'm still working on today, but it is so true. Like literally not everyone's going to like you, and that is okay, because I don't even like everyone. And I like a lot of people.
Yeah, literally. And on that, something I was going to say, and it's just
She
really
was so
escaped.
close.
I've done so well today,
you
guys.
have done so well. I'm very proud of you.
Another thing with authenticity, and again, this has been so evident with our podcast, is it creates trust. So you guys listening, you're here for an hour every single week, sometimes twice a week, because of who we are and what we present online and what we're sharing. And you build that trust. Like the trust with our community is so important, because if we're ever going to sell something or do an event, it's like we want people to come because they want to hear from us and they trust us to inspire them and motivate them and become a better version of themselves. And you can tell. You can tell when you're at an event or listening to a podcast or a speaker and you're like, oh, like, this is not giving authenticity and I don't feel like I can trust you. Whereas, you know, we're in our DMs and I'm sending voice notes and I'm always responding. Like the last few weeks, I've just had the most insane conversations in my DMs. And I'm like, we literally have the coolest community. And that's because we've been able to show up authentic to ourselves. And then that's going to lead onto trust. So if you're like a business owner, whether that be product-based fitness coach, mindset coach, kind of on that online kind of business, if you can create that personable experience for someone, they're going to trust you. It's the same as us building the podcast studio. I'm probably going to be the face of the social media and Jackson here and there. But it's like we want people to come in because they want to work with us. And we have created a freaking epic studio. But then they're seeing all these fun TikToks and how we set up and how we operate and how we want to provide a really good service for our clients, because you want to have a good experience wherever you go. It's like when people go to restaurants or my dad's so bad for this, but he'll let them know if he's had a bad experience. And I'm like, oh, that's when I fawn. And I'm like, no, dinner was amazing. Loved it so much. And like my whole plate.
Food poisoning, but it's fine.
I'm like, it's fine. But it's like oh my God, my dad's waiting longer than a certain amount of time, it's like he will have something to say. And I'm like, yeah, go king. But, you know, you want to go out into the world and have a good experience. And you, like the other day, Mum and I went for breakfast for Mother's Day. And the girl at the counter, I was like, you hate your life right now. Like you do not want to be here. And you feel bad because you're like, well, you know, you're getting Sunday rates. I know you want the money. And the cafe's just busy as it's Mother's Day. But I'm just like, oh, you poor thing.
Like I had a job and I loved it, like a cafe job. And I'm like, and then I had another job that I hated, so I left it. And I know that also you do have to pay the bills. And at the end of the day, sometimes you do just have to do a job because you absolutely need the money.
Incredible to learn.
But sometimes I'm just like, you need to almost like fake that you love it. Because so many times, like, of course, also I didn't want to go to this cafe shift every single time and wash dishes for an hour at the end of every day. Like, of course I did not want to do that. But sometimes I would literally just have to romanticize it and just like pretend that I would love it and I'd put good music on.
I'm
and
like, oh, do I want to go work at a cafe again?
No, that I reckon. No.
Lil's like, actually, business is closed, everyone. I still have on my bucket list that I want to open a cafe.
That's pretty crazy.
Like I've had it for years.
Like what type of cafe? Wait, I just need to say one more thing before we go into a little bit of ramble.
Okay.
So because before I forget, just one more thing on the vulnerability is on a lot of the podcasts that I am my most vulnerable self, there's so many times where I want to message you saying, let's not put that out. And they're always the ones that get the most comments and the most like, thank you for sharing that. I don't feel alone. And that's where it truly just goes to show that everyone's going through the same thing. And if you just share your own experience, it's going to land right.
Yeah.
All right,
100%. Go. My cafe. So I've always had the vision of like a good cafe to work from. Like you've got PowerPoints everywhere, but it's like smoothies and like health bowls. Because there used to be this cafe in Melbourne that my mum and I loved. They had in the fridge, they had like pre-made meals that you could take home with all their macros and calories on it.
What was it called?
Oh, I can't remember. Sorry. And then you could buy like these whole food bowls, kind of like Balsam, I guess. And then they had smoothies. But I always wanted to have a cafe. And I was like, yeah, one day like it'd be cool to have a gym. And then when I met Jackson, he had like all these plans of like building a gym.
Wow.
And then we were like, we want to build a gym and a cafe next to each other.
That would be really
We've
cool.
landed on a podcast studio.
Yeah, random.
So maybe that's the next project.
Oh, wow.
But I just like, I would love to just, because I remember working at the cafe and you have your locals come in and you're like, yep, you want your regular John, no worries, got you. And it's like that environment just feels so fun.
It does feel like a family.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you do need to set it up right. I feel like because now looking back, I started at Acai Brothers when she was opening it, and she worked, the owner, every single day. And I swear, for like 5-7 years, still went, and only now is she having like weekends off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that doesn't seem really good.
It doesn't feel good.
No.
And I think you can, also the fact that we do have a social media presence.
Yes.
We can build it up, hire the right people to kind of go straight into not being there every single day. But it's still going to come with a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's still on my bucket list.
It's still there.
But
maybe little man could work there.
Yeah, he can.
That would feel clean. All of the little mans around the full
up. All the kids.
That would be so
and that's
funny.
our family business.
Yeah.
And even just like I actually really want to join a group class gym again.
Yes,
postpartum. I just feel like I had that in Melbourne at a few different gyms and I loved it. Like again, you go in, your 6 a.m. class, you know who everyone's there.
That was when I was working at Body Fit, it was always the exact same people every single day.
The 5 a.m.s, the 6 a.m.s.
And not all of them talked, but they all knew each other.
Yeah.
And it was really good. And I always had my favorite classes. Like
that was like when I was at Neighbourhood, like I just love that. I'm like, I want to do that
I reckon I'll do that when I'm a mum.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yeah,
it makes
feels
sense.
Right. And also get in, don't have to think about it, get it done.
Yeah. And for some reason, you're in and out way faster.
So much
swear.
faster.
The only thing that I really knew about owning a business when I grew up, I wanted a boardroom. That was all I wanted.
That was that business marketing side of you.
Yes, it was like I've made it if I have a boardroom, and shortly I will have made it.
It'll be cool to sit in there. And even, I think we've said that we've recently hired for the podcast.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think we have. So we're recently hired.
Yeah.
Which is really exciting. But it's like when she's here, we can go to the boardroom. And just like.
I can take 8 calls from there a day, not the car park. Right now, if you're going to call me, I'm probably going to be from the car park.
Yeah. We're close. We're so close.
So close.
All right, final question.
Okay.
When did you feel like you could start being your authentic self and showing up as you?
When I moved to Queensland and broke up with my ex.
Just about to say that. Like, you're
like, I know.
Yeah.
I know when I liked you.
Yeah.
I would actually say no. Like, pivotal, Europe. That was when I was like, oh my God, I feel free. I like my life. I'm so happy. Good friends. Like there was the first time properly actually hanging out with Tay and Riz, and we just all got along so well. It wasn't like we all drank, we all could eat food, but then didn't like have to feel like we're working out. It was so easy, and I just felt like that trip really just solidified everything that I knew that I wanted to be and could be.
You wanted to just like amplify all of it.
Yeah.
Mine was probably. Oh, it's so hard to like look back on. I feel through all of acro, I was very much myself. Like I never had to fake anything. And then I lost myself for a bit. And then I would say 2022, probably when I moved to the Gold Coast, actually. Because I think when I moved to Adelaide 2020, I was starting to rebuild myself. And that was like a massive thanks to Jackson helping, find my way again with health and fitness and well-being. And then I feel like I spent a year and a half with him like progressing. And then when I moved here, it just got amplified. Like the lifestyle here, again, we found our friends. And then when he moved up here, it was just like icing on the cake. And then it's just progressed from there. But I would definitely say I wasn't in like my peak, but I had built myself back up to be like, okay, we've found Tori again. And now we take off.
Yeah.
And we don't look back.
I actually have another pivotal one, which is like so random, but my very first, I think it was my first Worlds. My first Worlds in 2014. I don't know why, but like I think I was 15 years old.
So all your Worlds in Florida?
Yeah. And it was just the best trip of my life because then I also traveled with my family after and we went to the lake. And I love a lake, love a lake. And I remember like it was a 3-week long holiday and I nearly like wanted to cry because I did not want to leave because we were just like water skiing every day. We were with family, friends, my family, we're in a gated community. Like it was just the best thing ever. And I don't know why. Specifically, I just remember being like, oh my God, I'm so happy I could – there wasn't really social media then. But I was like, didn't need to be on my phone. I just felt like me.
Just like free.
Just free. That's I love that word free.
Yeah.
Because both of those times I felt free.
Yeah. She needs to feel free, everyone. I also think coming into motherhood will be huge for me. It's going to be I just feel like it'll be right.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Remember that you can always come back and listen, take some notes, or send it to someone who may need to hear a few of these words. Any topics you guys want to hear, DM us, let us know.
Yeah.
Any series that you want. We did take a break from May, but we're coming back hot and heavy for June.
Yeah. As if it's June.
Oh my God. It's like nearly his Drew month. Crazy. Wild. But we love you guys so much, and we'll be back in your ears next week.
Bye.